Hey, this is Stemage from Metroid Metal, Steven Universe, and Viking Guitar Live, and you're listening to The Budget Arcade.
Hello gamers and welcome to Budget Arcade, a free-to-play gaming podcast to help you navigate through the growing realm of free-to-play games. I'm Scott.
I'm Elliot, and I would like to introduce my friend of the show, Danny K.
Wow, thank you. I wasn't expecting someone to just snatch up the introduction there.
No, look, I'm going to pimp you out here for a minute. Danny K hosts Next to Nothing, which is a Twitch show, Tuesdays, 8 Central? No, 8 Eastern.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I even live on Eastern. I don't know what I'm doing. You can follow him at Danny K on Twitter, on Twitch. He streams all kinds of stuff. He's been playing a lot of... Wasn't Fallout. What have you been playing?
I just finished up Far Cry.
Far Cry. See, close. F's, right?
Yeah.
And that's Danny, D-A-I-C-A-E?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
D-A-N-I-E-C-A-E.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I spell it funny for a ridiculous reason, and it just has stayed that way.
Oh, so that's not your real actual spelling of your name?
No.
His real name is Gerard, but he doesn't like to tell people that. So, Danny, what else am I missing about you? Any big other things?
No, not really. Yeah,
right.
you got me pretty down covered.
Now you got to come on Tess and Elliot argue after this, because I can't let you on Budget Arcade and not. You're gonna have to come on and play some stupid news game with us. So.
I will. I might take you up on that if I find something stupid enough.
Yeah, that's me. Man, doesn't it smell so nice without Jeff here? 2 weeks in a row, we can finally air it out. It's great.
Just get the Febreze out and everything.
I miss you, Jeff. Come back to me, Jeff.
Yeah, the studio doesn't smell as bad.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
Right, and we want to welcome everybody to episode number 44. Just to recap, we play a free-to-play game each week, and then we rate and review it. Elliot, what was this week's game?
We played old school RuneScape, and there is a difference. And we played old school RuneScape, published and developed by Jaggets. I don't know.
Jagged,
old school RuneScape was released on February 22nd of 2013. Now, please don't at me. I know that's not the original release date of RuneScape, but that is the release date of old school RuneScape. When OSRS launched, it was originally on August 2007, from a build from 2007, but has since received engine improvements, new content, and quality of life updates. The mobile version for Android and iOS released on October of 2018. In under the 2 weeks that it was first released on iOS and Android, it became the most downloaded mobile game in 8 different countries at the same time. So kind of a big thing.
This is what, the gold standard for massive multiplayer online games back in the day?
I mean, I think so. What's your experience with MMOs, either of you guys?
So I played RuneScape from like 6th grade to 7th grade, completed all the free content. It might have been even a little bit longer. It might have been maybe 5th grade to 8th grade. But then after that, the only MMO I really played was Elder Scrolls Online. Oh, and there was another one that I played in high school called Dead Frontier. That was like a zombie-themed one.
Oh, yeah. I've never played that one, but I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, so that's my MMO experience. Not a whole hell of a lot.
Okay.
The RuneScape was definitely, to me, I almost describe it as babies first.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate line of thought. How about you, Scott? Were you ever an MMO guy?
The first MMO I was playing was Ragnarok Online. Played that for, let's see, I was in the beta for that, and then they didn't allow the US to play it after the beta because the US people were just too salty.
No? Okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah, well, they were way salty. But then they finally made it pay to play in the US and everywhere else. I don't remember the year, but I played that for probably a good 3 years, and then a buddy of mine jumped over to World of Warcraft. He had been playing Ragnarok with us, and he got me into WoW, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
That was the last MMO that I actually played, other than the...
that failed... what was the name of that horrible game you made us play?
Yeah, that horrible game. We won't even discuss that one. Skyforge.
Yeah, terrible. I've played a lot of WoW. I've dabbled here and there, a little bit of Elder Scrolls. The only one that I haven't played that I was interested in has been the new Final Fantasy. That one kind of really interests me, but I just can't take those plunges into MMOs. They're really addicting to me. I do a really bad job with it, of just getting really absorbed into that lifestyle. Yeah,
I've been trying to avoid any MMOs because of that reason.
Yeah.
Gameplay.
All right, so this game is a point-and-click type of MMO. You know, just whatever NPCs or items, you point and click on them. I mean, you're going to tap the screen on your phone with whatever you're trying to interact with. There's quests, there's crafting. What else am I missing? There's quite a bit to this.
With the free version, there's 15 skills that you can level up. Attack, strength, defense, ranged, prayer, magic, runecraft, hit points, crafting, mining, smithing, fishing, cooking, fire making, wood cutting, just to name the 15. There's also 8 additional skills in the paid model, which we'll get to eventually, of course. And they all start at level 0 or level 1, with the exception of hit points, which starts at 10. If you played an MMO, you've played an MMO, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The leveling is a little different here than traditional MMOs, which I know saying traditional MMOs and not saying RuneScape is kind of funny, but it is a little bit of a different system. You can really play how you want to play. If you want to level up skills, you can level up skills. If you want to do quests, you can do quests. You know, there's a lot of different ways to play this game. I was on a website this weekend. In order to do all of the content that you can do for free, it is 2,500 hours worth of content averaged.
Oh, geez. I'm trying to think back, because I know I completed all of the free quests back in middle school. And I would hate to say that I wasted that much of my life in middle school doing
but
that.
You had to have, right?
But I must have. I absolutely must have.
That's the thing. That's one of those things, like, when I die, I would love to see the amount of hours I played games, or I did this or that, like, especially World of Warcraft, because I have devoted months of my life to that game.
See, that's the terrifying thing about, like, Steam, where it shows you your hours played. Thank goodness I didn't have an hours played for RuneScape in middle school.
Your parents probably would have killed you then, huh?
Oh, well, I'm sure they probably looked at the data statements every month and knew exactly what was happening.
He's either really into online adult material, or he's just playing a lot of RuneScape.
Mom, if you're listening, I know
it's definitely adult material. It's definitely adult material, Mom, I swear.
Oh, no, both my parents are IT professionals, so they know
they do.
They knew everything. I got caught and in trouble for so many things related to internet usage.
Oh, wow.
I mean, gameplay here is hard to kind of nail down because there's just so much to it. I focused on leveling this past week when I played. I devoted about a half hour to an hour a day, and that's mostly what I did, because that was what intrigued me, was the leveling system.
Yeah, I did a lot of questing as much as I could. Like, it's kind of hard to quest in this game without
Yes.
like a guide.
It
because
absolutely is.
There's no quality of life for the quest where, like in World of Warcraft, if there was a quest nearby or like the place where you had to turn in the quest, there was indicators on your mini map and as well as like, on your HUD to be able to go, okay, I need to go over this direction. No such indicator whatsoever in this game. So it's a little bit difficult to, because you have to remember what the NPC has told you where to go or who to speak to, and if you don't, you have to go back to that person, or you look up a quest guide online.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those games where you need to look up a quest guide if you're really fresh.
I remember in middle school when a lot of us were playing it, they actually sold at the middle school book fairs like a quest guide.
Oh man,
yeah.
Middle
So
school book fairs.
there was like an official quest book for RuneScape, and I didn't get a huge amount of time to play it, but man, talking about like the gameplay and nostalgia, rose-colored glasses are a real thing because I'm coming back to it now, and I'm wondering how I had the patience to play this game for as long and as often as I did as a kid.
I mean, it was what was available at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, especially because my parents were not willing to purchase any sort of subscription fee for like WoW or anything like that. So I was, even in RuneScape, I was relegated to just a free account.
But when we're talking free-to-play account in this game, we're really talking about a lot of stuff. The majority of players, my understanding, with old-school RuneScape are free-to-play accounts. So, the PvP and the PvE is definitely different from subscription-based old school to the free version, but they definitely have their own I don't know what the right word is. They have their own server, so if you're playing the free version, you're only playing with other free version people, which is, I find, really interesting, and it makes the the grinding for gear really attainable in the sense that like you're not going to come across a guy who's paying and has better gear than you, because the level caps are higher for subscription-based people.
Yeah, and it used to be that even in like PvP, that higher level gear would just be relegated to the highest tier for the free players. So if I remember this correctly, right, you have for weapons.
So are we jumping
bronze.
into the paywall here now?
Oh, I mean,
we're kind of transitioning, I guess.
Yeah.
Paywall.
It makes it it's just easy to, I don't know, describe in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah, so I mean, you have like the weapon system, which is, you have like bronze, iron, steel, mithril. Then it goes like black, and then adamant and rune. If I remembered that correctly from all that long ago, there's certainly some brain cells that should be retaining math equations. But there's also some other higher ones, like for members, where it's like dragon. And if I remember correctly, if you're in a free realm and you're doing PvP, dragon is just as powerful as rune, if I remember correctly. And then like that applies to the armor and stuff as well, I think.
And you've done more PvP than either of the other two of us have. A lot of the stuff I saw online said that PvP is pretty hard to get into if you haven't done it before. Like, there's a high skill cap when it comes to PvP. Did you find that to be the case?
Yeah, so the PvP I played a lot of was the the clan wars. So it was just like basically a TDM. You just waited or you just fought in big groups until everyone was dead.
Okay.
PvP was a little difficult to get into. Like did you guys go into the wildy at all, or the wild?
No, not really.
No, I didn't get there.
So the wild or the wildy is just like this open range where you can, just attack anyone. You cross the border and you're fair game. And that's pretty difficult because you just have people who are marauding around and ganking noobs. And that is actually kind of difficult, especially if you're lower level to get into. But if you do something like the sanctioned PvP where there's not any risk, then that's probably easier to get into. Like I said, the clan wars, there's no risk. I think the only risk that was even there was getting to the clan wars, because they put the clan wars location in the wilderness. So you had to brave the wilderness to get to the clan wars.
Okay.
I'm going to a clan war. Oh, I got killed and lost all my gear.
Yeah, you get ganked on the way there. So PvP, yeah, like especially like the wilderness is a little difficult to get into because it's very high risk, high reward.
Yeah. When we're talking about paywall, though, there's really just the subscription, which seems like it's completely unnecessary to play and enjoy. But when you have a subscription, you get you unlock 8 more skills that you can work on. You can see the entire map, right? I think you can travel literally everywhere. So without the subscription, there are places that you can't go. The gear is a little higher end, but other than that, it really doesn't like. There's no pay to win here, which is what's really amazing.
The subscription's really not necessary until you probably get to the higher ranks anyways, because once you've done all those hours to be able to finish quests and stuff, maybe then you want to do more. That's when you would end up purchasing the subscription fee on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the subscription is even in, like, actually paying for the subscription is even necessary, because they have a bond system now, where you can actually use in-game currency to buy the bonds, and you don't have to buy the in-game currency. You just generate the currency on your own, passively or otherwise.
Oh, so you can actually grind out a subscription on this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was something,
Nice.
right in the tutorial, I noticed right away. That was really interesting. There's actually a couple things in the tutorial that I noticed, and that was one of them that they changed from when I played.
I know on Twitch Prime had given subscriptions for like 3 months at a time.
Okay.
At one point in time. So I think it's a regular thing that Twitch Prime does partner with Old School RuneScape, and you actually get in-game items and subscriptions as well.
Yeah, there seems to be a really big streamer community surrounding Old School RuneScape. Actually, just like a big community in general. I was surprised how many people still play this game or still talk about this game.
Yeah, the numbers are crazy high, actually. Like, super surprising. I know when the game first came out to phones, I downloaded it like the day it came out, because this is one of those games that I had always like wanted to get into and just never did. And I downloaded it and just sat on it. I never opened it up, but a lot of people were waiting for this to come out onto phones when it came out last year. You know,
it really gives a lot of accessibility because it's on the phone.
I was going to ask this because I guess I didn't think about this before. Can you log into your, like, if you have it on desktop, you can log into it on your phone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's essentially a cross save, even though the game runs on like a browser system anyways.
Yeah, right. Yes, you can.
I think there's actually cross play.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It's not like players on the PC or players on a desktop or laptop would have an inherent advantage over someone on mobile, because all it is just clicking and selecting.
Well, a lot of stuff I read online even said that the controls on the iOS and Android were better than the controls on the computer. So I saw a lot of that. So,
yeah.
Well, the cool thing about this game is like they are still developers working on it. Mm-hmm. So like there's Old School RuneScape, and then there's regular RuneScape, or is it called RuneScape 3? Is that correct?
I think it's called RuneScape 3.
Yeah.
Yes,
see?
I believe so.
And they run parallel to each other. So like they essentially did what World of Warcraft did earlier this year, which RuneScape did at first, but that's fine. Of like going back in time and just starting fresh right before the real big changes occurred. And then it's now diverged on its own path. You know, they're adding things to the game that were not in RuneScape 2 or RuneScape 3 for that case. You know, they hold polls where they vote on things, and people vote on what they want them to add into it, and they add it into it. So the community here seems very solid.
Yeah, and that poll thing was really cool. I thought that was really awesome.
Overall, the community seems just very chill. Even on the subreddit, which I spent a little bit of time on, seemed very chill.
Not toxic at all?
I mean, not WoW classic toxic, man. That subreddit is just a hive of scum and villainy, man. It is terrible. I love WoW, and I love WoW classic, and that subreddit should be avoided at all costs.
Just a massive dumpster fire.
It's just people hating on people for being people, you know. It's just the stupidest stuff. Can you tell it triggers me? Can you tell and get triggered by thinking about it?
Yeah, just a bit.
To cool off for a minute.
Replayability.
So how many hours did you say it would take to complete all the quests?
It says an average player should take about 2,500 hours for the free stuff. So that's not even including all the other stuff you get with a subscription. So, you know, because when you get your subscription, you can even level those skills up higher.
Yeah, so there's a lot of replayability here if this is your type of genre.
Yeah, kind of thinking back to it, I'm definitely going through all the quests in my mind, or at least the quests that I remember, and the amount of time that it actually does take. Along with the grinding, I think there's a meme in the community where it's like 98 is half of 99. And that's
Yeah.
because to get to level 99 from level 98, you have to basically double all the experience that you've already accrued.
Yeah, there was a thing I had seen that showed that. Oh yeah, they showed a formula. I have their old school RuneScape wiki has the formula for how it's determined, and it looks buck wild, my boys.
Ragnarok Online was like that. It was 1 to 94 was so many experience points, and then from 94 to 99 was like twice that amount.
Yeah, WoW Classic
Something like
was
absolutely ridiculous.
Like that. Not that bad, but like I think at WoW Classic, the cap was 60, and when you got to like 47, you were at the halfway point of leveling. So it wasn't
Okay.
that
See,
bad.
I didn't. I guess I started later in WoW that I didn't have that occur. Because I don't feel like it took me a long time to get to 60.
No, they definitely, with every expansion, shortened that number or that experience a lot, actually. So much so that people got upset, and they changed it recently in regular WoW or retail WoW, and it's triggered other people.
Judgment.
All right, so at the end of each episode, we decide if the game deserves our seal, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down, requires a 2/3 vote to be approved. Danny, what do you say?
So for me, kind of thinking about this game and the accessibility, it's a browser-based game. You can play it on your phone. You don't require a lot of hardware to try it out. You can play this on a potato with an LCD screen. And for being free and just thinking about all the time I spent on it, I can definitely recommend this game. Especially if you're on the younger side of things, or if you just don't have the hardware to play something like Elder Scrolls Online or WoW or Warframe or whatever else.
All right, Elliot, how about you?
So I'm going to give it my seal with some caveats. First off, there's a high skill cap to this game, I think, which I think is a good thing. I like. There's a lot of content here. If you like MMOs, there's no reason why you would not like this. It might take you a little bit to kind of get over the look of it, but even like the simplistic looks, I kind of dig that style it's going for. Zero pay to win, I absolutely love. But is this a game I'm going to play after this week? No. And the reason I'm not is because the amount of time that this game requires. It's just, I'd rather play other games. I'd rather continue to do this podcast. I think to play this game requires a lot of time. Because I'm the kind of guy, once I start, I'm going to want to get up all those skills up. I want to do all those quests. So there's a lot to do here. This is a game for me, but not a game for me at this point in my life, if that makes sense.
I just have to mirror what both of you guys have said, because 100%, like, I don't like the game. It's not really my bag. Like, I will not go back to MMOs anymore just because it puts a strain on my home life. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. I will give it my seal because of how accessible this game is, how much content there is for it, and the fact that you can even grind out for the premium service is amazing. Not a lot of games do that. So I do give it my seal, and that would mean that this game is Budget Arcade approved. We did have a listener commentary, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you want me to read it?
Yeah, if you could.
So this comes to us from Nolan.
And Nolan is part of the New Game Plus podcast.
Okay. So he says, Old School RuneScape is one of the biggest love letters to gamers that I can think of. Let me explain. As the MMO genre evolved and other games began to rise above in terms of performance and graphics, Jagex needed to evolve in order to keep up. When they started to make major changes to the game and the client, players like myself started to feel the original magic of the game beginning to wane. We lost the rudimentary look and the feel that kept us hooked as kids. I'll cut to the chase. For a major game company to listen to a petition from their annoying player base and to bring back an entirely different version of RuneScape that was then outdated for them, and then to actually do it is unheard of. I love the community and the passionate developers that Jagex has received an otherwise dead game and an MMO, and an MMO at that, into something that I can go back to from time to time and relive my younger, simpler days. Great game that everyone should play, especially because it's free and on mobile now. So there you go. Thanks, Nolan.
All right, so next week we'll be playing Final Fantasy Brave Exvius.
Okay.
That's on mobile.
Okay. I've not heard of this. This scares me.
New things terrifying.
I love Final Fantasy. That's why I'm like, why have I not heard? Oh, I know this. Oh, Jeff's going to love this one, too.
Well, you know, we love harassing Jeff on these things.
I miss you, Jeff. Come back to me, my sweet child. My sweet summer child.
Danny, you want to pimp yourself out one more time?
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in finding me, you can find me on Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter, DANIECIE. I also do a podcast called The Next to Nothing Podcast with my co-host Rev Sven and Mr. Greenelite. You guys can catch that live on Twitch at 7 p.m. Central Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Also 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time if you guys are overseas. And you can also find the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and Google, and all the other podcast places.
We want to thank you all for joining us. Wherever you listen, we ask that you would leave us a favorable review and make sure that you subscribe so that you never miss an episode.
We're on Twitter at Budget Arcade. We're online at budgetarcade.com. We're on Instagram at budgetarcade.com. You can send any hate mail to budget at I don't remember what the email is. Don't worry about sending it. We don't want it. Budget at
show at budgetarcade.com.
At budgetarcade.com. I'm just going to keep stumbling over myself. What else does Jeff normally say? I'm Jeff, and I like to yell at things. But biscuits.
That was actually a pretty good impression.
Yeah, I've been working on it in the mirror every morning just a little bit. I hate myself a little bit more every time.
Music is provided by Stimage, and you can listen to his music on metroidmetal.com.
Game on!
Thank you for joining us, and game on.
Game on.